Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's video. My name is Angel DeSantis. I wanted to share some of the work that I do in order to kind of repave the mental roads that I have in my life, kind of the process of what that looks like. Because I know I come on here and I talk a lot about the healing process, and some of you have asked me what my healing process is, and that's a difficult thing because there's so many layers to it, but I figured the way to start sharing the layers is just to share what I do. So the setup of this video is going to be, I'm going to invite you to do the work, and it's questions and answers. And the questions that I ask, kind of, if you answer them honestly, it can start to show your internal scaffolding of the layout of your mind. And I'm not going to check your answers. Hopefully you're able to be in a safe place and be able to answer honestly. And whether that's writing it down, I will always journal. Or if you don't feel safe enough to write it down, then you can just answer it in your head and just see what comes up there. But it's important for you to understand when you do this sort of work, there's not a right or a wrong answer. No one is going to check your questions. No one is going to know if you've done this work or not. It is always up to you. If you want to sit here and do this work, do it. If you sit here and you're like, I don't want to do this work, you don't have to do it. Internal work always depends on you and always benefits you. And it's exclusive, it's beneficial for you. And I think it's really lovely to do this sort of work because it's something that you do for yourself, and sometimes it's the only thing that you do that is exclusively beneficial to you. And I think it's so important to do things in your life that benefit you a lot. So again, the setup of this video is I'm going to ask questions and invite you to answer, and we'll kind of go layers in, and I'm going to ask you to pause the video at certain points, and you can either think your way through the question or a thought, or you can write your way through a question. And the reason that I write is because none of us can write as fast as we can think. And so by the time I'm finished writing out my thought, I'm forced to close the loop of the thought. Otherwise, it's just bad writing and it doesn't make sense. And secondly, I think myself through the thought a couple of times by the time I reach the conclusion of the sentence on the page, because writing is so much slower than thinking. So also there's a certain part of your brain that develops along with your hand, but that's another thing. But I just wanted to share the meditation that I did this morning. We have the police going by. I don't know if you can hear that, or maybe it's an ambulance. I'm gonna wait. Los Angeles. But the meditation that I did today, I wanted to share with you. And whenever I do a meditation, I try to leave with resource. And what I mean by that is I like to leave with things that I can take action on. That way I leave with a list of actions. Whether or not I do the actions is up to me. Sometimes I get a list of actions and I'm like, I don't want to do any of them. And that's fine. But it's training your brain to be able to look for resource and then look for actions that you can take off of that. And that's what's useful. How you use it, again, this is a personal practice, so it's up to you. Whether you use it or not is up to you. But you want to train your brain to be able to think yourself through a situation, to look for resource, and then to look for action. So that is what we have today. And the question that I meditated on today, so you can go ahead, pause this now, and then grab pen, paper, or if you're just going to think your way through it, great. Sit down, pop your headphones in, and give yourself permission to get set up, and then we'll think our way through it, or journal our way through it. But pause me now and get set up. Hello, welcome back. So the question that I journaled on today was the question, what do I need in order to feel whole? So that's the question. So what do I need in order to feel whole? And I'll give you some examples of what I wrote. I wrote, I need to feel free. I need to have a goal that I'm chasing. I need to feel safe, and I need to feel loved. And I need those. I need a lot more. But those are the things that immediately came to mind when I asked myself the question, what do I need in order to feel whole? So give yourself permission to pause this video, write down as little or as many things as you can to find out what you need in order to feel whole. So after you've written down what you need in order to feel loved, just take a look at your answers. And maybe you wrote a lot, maybe you wrote a little, but I'm going to ask you to pick certain ones to get into the next layer. So look at what you wrote. What do I need in order to feel whole? Look at your answers and maybe take the first one. My first one was I need to feel free. So what does being free mean to me? Or take one from yours, maybe take the first one and ask, what does that actually mean? Like, what does that word mean to you? What would it look like in your everyday life? So for me, I took the word free. I need to feel free. And for me, free means that I don't have standards put on me that I don't understand. So that's what it means to me. That's what freedom means to me, is I understand the standards that I hold and I feel safe. So take whatever words that you really want to delve into and dissect and ask yourself what they actually mean to you, and do you understand those words? What do they mean to you? So go ahead and pause this and journal your way through, or think your way through, what those words that you wrote down actually mean or look like in your everyday life. Welcome back. So we're just going to go like that through another word. And for me, I wrote, I need to feel safe. And so I wrote down, what does it mean? What does it mean for me in order to feel safe? And of course, the first thing that comes to mind is physical safety. I think a lot of us clear that. I hope that most of us clear that. But because I didn't clear that for the first 20 plus years of my life, that's my bar that I need to feel physically safe. And once I clear that, then the next step after that is I need to know who I can go to for help. And I want to unpack this one with you. And maybe you don't have this one on there, but I really want to unpack this little one right here. I need to know who I can go to for help, because help can mean so many different things. So what I want you to do right now is think about who you can go to for help. But before you start writing it down, I want you to break down a couple of words. So I put financial help, I put emotional help, mental help, physical help. And you can break down into categories that make sense to you, but I think it's important to differentiate those things. And I'll say them again. But the reason it's important to break this down is because sometimes we only have one person that we always go to for help. And sometimes that's overwhelming to that person. Sometimes it's actually their means of control over you. But also it's important to know that there are so many different kinds of help. And the person that I can go to for financial help is not the person that I can go to for emotional help. And the person that I go to for emotional help is not the person that I go to for mental help. And the person that I go to for social help, again, is a totally different person. So we have so many facets in our life, and our lives are very rich. Your life is rich. And so there are all these different facets. So I'm going to ask you, who can you go to for help? And you can put general help, but then also please put emotional help. Please put mental help. And you can add whatever else, but go ahead and pause this video and write down the names of people. And for me, I wrote the internet, right? For social help or mental advice. I put the neuroscience channel. But I put obviously my therapist. Love him. But I think it's important to really break these things down, because I want you to leave with resource. I want you to know who you can go to. And that is something that I don't know. That's something that you know in your life. So get ready to pause this video and break down certain different people or different areas, or maybe different books that you can go to for different areas of help in your life. So go ahead, pause this video and write down resources that you can tap into for help. Welcome back. So once you have this list of people or resources that you can go to for help, I want you to now do an action. Write down an action that you can take. So for me, I put down, again, back to, what do I need to feel whole? I need to feel free. What does freedom mean to me? It means understanding the standards that I've put on myself, and also the ability to just be. So for me, I asked myself, what is an action I can take to feel free? And I wrote, I can turn off my phone and do a sunset hike. And that for me is really, really freeing. That for me feels like I'm alone with nature. I feel like nourished and I feel so free when I'm out in nature. So that's an action that I can do that makes me feel free. It reminds me that I'm free. What else? What am I doing? I had put down that I need a goal to chase. And so an action that I can take towards my goal is like doing this, filming, and really notching out and writing down all the processes that I use and continue building my website. And that's an action I can take. I can film today, and I'm filming. So this is helping me feel fulfilled, because one of the things that I needed to, in order to feel whole, was to have a goal that I'm chasing. And in order to chase that goal, I need to film. That's the action, and so that's what I'm doing. And then again, in order to feel safe, what I do in order to feel safe is I do a meditation on gratitude of how far I've come. And that always reminds me that I am my own resource, and that I feel really proud of myself and I feel very safe with myself. So whenever I need to feel safe, I do a meditation on gratitude and just write down all the things that I'm thankful for. And then I need to feel loved. And the action that I can take in order to feel loved is to reach out to my friends and like arrange a time to hang out with them, or eating proper food, because I love both of those things. Because sometimes in our lives, either we're not near our friends or they're busy. I tried to schedule time with my friends. They were all busy, so I scheduled it for like next week. And thankfully, I do feel loved most of the time, all of the time, which is lovely. But the thing that I can do in order to make myself feel loved and know that I'm taking good care of myself is eating like healthy food for me. And that's just how I receive love, is nourishing myself through like good food, and then also reaching out to my friends. And then I was able to do both of those things. So I want you to look at the thing that you can do, like what is an action that you can do in order to fulfill one of the things that you wrote at the top, right? In order, what do I need to feel whole? You wrote stuff down. So now what is an action that you can take that can make you feel that? So go ahead and pause this video and then write down small actions that you can take in order to feel those things that you needed in order to feel whole. So now we're coming to the end of this practice. And again, this is not a one-stop, now you're healed, congratulations, go in peace. This is something that is, you start to build stuff like this. And I hope that when you look at the paper, or when you tap into that part of your mind that you just were in, that you are leaving with resource. You know who you can reach out to for help. You know what you need in order to feel whole, and you know what actions you can take in order to feel whole. And it's this process of getting to know yourself better, and getting to gift yourself the experience of you being alive, because there's you and then there's life. And sometimes you go through life without ever feeling involved in it or feeling really alive. And then there is the experience of you alive in this life. And that is the experience that is worth having, and it's worth chasing, and it's worth this work in order to access that version of you that is so alive. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that through this you got to know your brain a little bit better. And again, there's nothing that you found out that is wrong and disgusting and says anything about you. There's just how you think. And the great thing about thoughts is that you can change them. The great thing about beliefs is that you can change them. So if you found anything that you are currently judging yourself for, I just want to give you permission to stop, and have you give yourself permission to stop. You can't do this work wrong. You're simply getting to know yourself better, and you are worth getting to know. And as you're doing this sort of layered work, it hopefully will guide you to a place where you learn to give yourself resource, you learn to be proud of yourself, you learn to take action to bring yourself to life. So I hope that this was helpful. If there was something that you found that was helpful, feel free to drop it below. I always so appreciate you guys sharing with each other. I share as much as I can, and I appreciate you guys sharing back with me. I learn a lot, and I know that other people who see what you share learn a lot as well. So thank you. I hope that this was useful, and I'll see you next time.